Here we have 550 paracord, meaning it has a braking strength of 550 pounds. And this is made in New York State. So here we're going to tie this in a typical fashion, going around once, twice, and then we'll pull in some tension. There we go. Now let's see what we got here. Well, we broke somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. Oh, we broke at the bow line. Yeah, look. Well, let's try that again. Carabiner still looks good. All right, we're set back up. Let's pull in our tension. Here we have a single blackwall hitch, and you see that it's slipping. The tag end is sliding towards it. We can do a double blackwall hitch, and I think that would fix it. We'll have to try that again here soon. But in a tie-down situation, you'd finish it off with a half hitch anyhow, and I think that would also solve the problem. Just as we slip off the screen, the paracord breaks. We're still attached on this side, and we broke at the bowline again. But in clashing with the shackle, we damaged our carabiner. Breaks my heart. Normally we'd go through once, and then once again, but we're gonna go through a third time. There we go. And this should be plenty strong. Let's see what we get. All right, we broke somewhere. This looks good though. Looks like it didn't move closer. Look at that. We broke right along the line. We didn't fail at the knot or at the carabiner. Here we have another typical setup. We have our girth hitch going around our carabiner. We have our blackwall hitch here at this end. Over there, we have a bowline. Well, our spring came off on that one, and here we can see we got some battle damage from hitting the shackle. But the overall integrity looks pretty good. We did, however, snap off at the carabiner. Okay, we're going to get a little ridiculous here, and we're going to use Paramax, which is rated at 1,000 pounds, on our paracord version. Now, this would not be a typical setup, but might as well see what we got going on here. All right, let's see what we've got here. Look at that. It held. The little carabiner that could have held, and we snapped off at the bowline right over there. Normally I like to do these things 10 times so you can get a better idea. Once is definitely not enough, but we still have some foresight on what's this going to look like. Oh man, look at that. That's so sad. Based on a quick Google search, a bowline will remove 25 to 30% of your rope strength. Paramax is rated at 1,000 pounds plus, and so if we were going by that quick Google search, that means we put between 700 or 750 pounds on this tiny carabiner. Now, if you watch the video slowly, you can see that the rope snapped at the outer edge here. Now, what I think happened is this edge was too sharp for the rope at such high tension. This prototype was tumbled, so if you look at the outside edges, they've been knocked down more than the inside, and that's because the stones don't reach this inner edge as well as the outside. Now, that's why we want to get them forged so that we can make the die and squeeze them out of hot aluminum so that it is nice and rounded on both sides. Here's the design I've been working with. Let me show you what we need to do. If I select this edge and then do a round over function, we can bring the edge way rounded over, until it looks absurd. We're not going to do it that much though. We can bring it back, maybe like 3/16. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's way too much. We don't want that. Let's try 1/16. See, that looks a lot better. Now, there's one thing I want you to see about the flat spool, and I'd like your opinion. This one you can see has the optional engraving. But when we take a carabiner and clip it in, it does not go past the microfin there. You see how it stops? Should we make this large enough so that the carabiner can rotate completely around? Now, here's why we'd want to do that. If we enlarge this hole, we could make it big enough to rotate the carabiner all the way around. And what that would allow you to do is get an orientation to look like this. And then what would happen is we would take the rope, unwind it, go around our object, then we could pull it in, go around and lock it off, and you wouldn't have to tie it into the rope again. You can just leave it onto the carrier. Let me know what you think about that. Same thing with the larger version. Here we are linked in. It will not go all the way around, but we could enlarge that hole just a little bit more so that we could do the same thing. And while we're looking at a close-up of these, you can see the difference in thickness in the metals we're using. Now the flat spools, I would like to keep these the bare aluminum color. Let me know what you think about that, but I think it would look nice just with the cord and the anodized carabiners. Let me know what you think. As far as color goes, these carabiners in the back, they're all anodized. Now, when I originally thought this up, I imagined that these would be blue. Okay. Now, there's other colors we can do. I'm sure we could do any color of the rainbow. Red. Here's yellow and black. Now, tell me what you think would be a good color. So please leave a comment on what you would like to see. Now, if we do anodize these, as you use them, they're going to wear off as you plug them in and out of your flat spool carrier. Just because metal on metal isn't exactly kind to finishes. So there is the option of just leaving it bare aluminum, but here's the trade-off. Now you can see it in this rope that I've been using on the prototype. If you look, this rope is a little darker. Kind of hard to see. Here's a good example right here. You see these two strands, this one is darker. Now as you pull it tight on the carabiner, the aluminum wears off and it does discolor the cord. It doesn't interfere with the utility of it, but it's just another consideration to make. I also wanted to talk to you about the size of this small carabiner. Now, if you take this to a truck bed and you try to use it on one of the dealing tie downs, what happens is the size isn't big enough for it to clear the gate. See, I'll go and the gate does not close. Imagine this is the same wire used for the D-ring shackles. Now, we can make this just a little bit larger so that it clears, and then you can have that option, or we can just leave it small. It would have to be maybe, I don't know, an 1/8 inch bigger. Please let me know about that too, what you think in the comments. Now, one last thing, I did update the add-on, so if you happen to lose a carabiner or two, you can add on extras in case you'd like to have those on hand. Thanks, folks.